ESL partner was Alessandro Pescarmona, and he was from Italy. I asked, where are you from exactly? He's from Torino, which, as you can see, is just south of Milan. So he had a little bit of advice. He said that you should not always do as the Romans, and that everyone must be free to practice their own beliefs and opinions. But that he said that you should definitely check out some things before you go to Italy, like how to eat pizza, which they folded over. They don't just eat it from the end, and how to eat spaghetti, which is twist and not scoop. He was very adamant about that. And he also said, don't believe everything that the Italians say. They like to persuade others, especially shop owners. They like to show that they're smarter than you. So don't believe everything an Italian says. Politeness is very similar to America, but he says that they have a lot more respect for each other there than we do here in general. Movies and music. These topics are very, very similar in Italy as in America. Italians love Hollywood films. They think that the special effects are just the most fabulous thing, and that nobody can match Hollywood special effects. Alessandro's favorite movie is Transformers. The next three, these three single, the guys who are in the picture alone, they are all Italian performers, Italian artists. But this one down here in the corner, that is actually a picture of the Rolling Stones, who are from England, or the UK, and they just love everything about in different cultures and stuff. This is the car that Alessandro wants, which is a Subaru Impreza, which is ironically imported from Asia since he's in Europe, and they have all these cool cars. And then he loves to play soccer. Sorry, my phone's a little bouncy. Religion is very important to the Italians. Most people think it's because that Italy surrounds the Vatican City. So many people who live near it are Catholic. But most people, mostly young people in Italy, don't really care about religion. They just kind of accept it when people believe in it, but they don't really have faith themselves. There's the Vatican City, and there's where the Pope preaches. You see all the crowds gathered. The landscape is very similar to Kentucky as it is in Italy. They have lots and lots of hills, but also some flat areas. In general, their houses are much smaller because of simply because of the land area. There's not as much area as in Europe as in America, and they generally build up instead of out. So there are lots and lots of apartments in Europe. The clothing is, obviously it's important to us, but it's a little different for the Italians. They believe that their clothing really shows their personality, and they don't ever want to dress like in pajamas or sweatpants, because they always want to look nice and show their personality through their clothing. According to Alessandro, Italians are artists, sailors, and lovers, and this is a quote that many Italians know. They have beautiful architecture, and they enjoy traveling, and they love to flirt. And Italians are known for being lazy. They don't have a lot of self-motivation, and they like to throw parties. Onto the education side. School organization is very similar to ours. You can see the preschool, elementary school, middle, and high schools. Over on the right is the Italian pronunciation for these schools. In high school, students have a choice, much like in college for us, on what type of institution to attend. The scientific is more like maths and sciences. The classic is more for arts and stuff. Linguistic is for languages, and English and technical is for engineering and mechanical type stuff. The school network, the typical class size is similar to ours, with 20 to 25 students, but the typical school size is probably a little bigger, with 2,500 to 3,000 students. But Italians spend a lot of time learning about things that aren't as significant. And this is, of course, according to Alessandro. He thinks that it would be more useful to spend more time in school focusing on maths and sciences to improve logical thinking skills rather than wasting so much time in other subjects. And then here you can just see the Italian school system. They don't have school buses. The lessons are in the same classroom, so the students move and not the teacher. Lessons start at 8 in the morning, and English is compulsory. Extracurricular activities. The Italian public schools sponsors clubs like drama and music, but they don't sponsor after-school sports. So in the bottom left, you can see there's like a scouts troop, and in the bottom right, there's a sailing club, which I thought was kind of cool. But it's kind of interesting that they don't sponsor sports. The teaching style, the Italian teachers teach very, very much through lectures. Italian teachers are not as interactive with the students. They don't really create lesson plans that get the students involved. They just create lesson plans that where they can be standing up and showing the students what they need to know. Grades are not based on homework. Grades, they go through an interrogation process, which is like an interview, and they are judged by their teacher, and they must pass this interview, and then they also have a comprehensive test at the end, and if they pass both of those, they pass the class. The Italian school year is very similar to ours as well because they're in the northern hemisphere. The school day begins at 8, and they continue until 12, where they have about an hour to an hour and a half. In most schools, students return to school at about 1:30, but students don't have to return to school. If they choose to have classes in the afternoon, they can only have a maximum of 2 classes. The cheating policy in Italy is the same. They still don't like cheating, but the real difference is the way the parents respond. Parents don't really punish their children because they believe they are punished at school and don't really have to worry about it. Cheating tips from Alessandro. You can hide the study guide between test papers. You can write on the bottom of your shoe, or you can put a study paper on the back of the chair in front of you, and of course other things that you can do. And those were quotes from Alessandro. The language, English is compulsory. You have to learn. You have to take English from the time you're in elementary school to the time you graduate. Alessandro gives some tips for helping to learn another language. You should speak with native speakers a lot. You should create a reading group with others learning the same language. You should listen to music in that language and watch movies, and then go live in a country with the language you were learning as a primary language. Alright, and the last slide. A good student always pays attention, always does the homework, asks questions, and is always quiet while others speak, which is, similar to here. And a good teacher is passionate about the students, has no preferential treatment, and shows their passion about the subject they are teaching. So what we learn from this is that the learning needs don't change from the culture. It's still the same. The teacher must have passion about the students, and the students must pay attention to the teacher in order to learn. Well, I hope you enjoyed my presentation. I'm sorry I couldn't be there. Thank you guys again. It was